Greetings everyone, once again it's Mandaté sharing the authentic truth brought to us by Zulula 100, the only teacher. And here the teaching I will share is going to be regarding, was Jesus born on December 25th and the Christmas demons? Because there's many people that celebrate the supposed birth of Jesus on December 25th. But you have to understand that that celebration is neither based on the scriptures nor on historical fact. So here we shall dive in the current Classic Day Bible to demonstrate that he could not have been born on December 25th. Because that celebration, that custom, they took it from paganism, from the nations, from people who were already doing abominations, occult practices. They even took that from ancient Egypt regarding Osiris and Horus and so on. And they try to now associate the supposed birth of their false Christ, Jesus, to that date. Because that date already had a significance in many other civilizations before the arrival of the so-called Christians. Or the supposed arrival of the so-called Jesus. Now, for that, when we go in Luke chapter 2 verse 1, it says, "In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world." New Living Translation, "At that time, the Roman emperor, comma, at that time," which time? The time, according to the scriptures here, the Bibles, regarding the birth of Christ. So around that time, in those days, you're told that Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. But when we go in New Living Translation, it says, "At that time, the Roman Emperor Augustus decreed that a census should be taken throughout the Roman Empire." English Standard Version, "A decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be registered." So here in the English Standard Version is no longer only the Roman Empire, but it says the entire world. So since when were the Roman ruling over the entire world? Since when a Caesar could make a decree to census the entire population of the world? You see the confusion of the authors of the Bibles? They don't agree with each other. Even the Dual Rhyme Bible version, it says that the whole world should be enrolled. That could not have been the case, because never in history the Roman had control over the entire world. Never the empire stretched out throughout the lands over the whole planet. It never happened. So, the current Bibles are rags, towels, full of mistakes, lies, contradictions. There is only one Bible, the authentic Bible, Bibèl, the book of the truth. The only authentic Bible without any errors or contradiction. Furthermore, when we go in Luke chapter 2 verse 4, King James Bible, it says this, "And Joseph went up from Galilee, out of the city of Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David." Verse 6, "And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered." Verse 7, "And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn." So you're told here in the Bibles that regarding the supposed birth of the so-called Jesus Christ, that there was no room in the inn for Joseph, Mary, and so for them. So she had to give birth outside. And you're told, she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger. So they were outside. The question is, because if it was according to the image they try to show, that it was snowing, and then there's Mary, there's Joseph, and then there's the little baby, and so on. And it is cold. It could not have been the case because they were outside. She could not give birth outside in the cold and put the baby, because when you go in contemporary English version, it says, she gave birth to her firstborn son. She dressed him in baby clothes and laid him on a bed of hay. In baby clothes. So that could not have been during the cold of winter. Because you're even told in Luke chapter 2 verse 8 that at the same time, at the same period, the same night, it says, there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flock at night. At night. Keeping watch over their flocks. So there were shepherds outside watching over their flocks, watching over the animals. If it was wintertime, why would the shepherds stay outside? You're told in the New International Version, living out in the fields. How are you going to be living out in the fields during wintertime? And it is nearby. So that means it is in the same region. English Standard Version, in the same region, there were shepherds out in the field, keeping watch over their flock at night. And the shepherds don't keep their flock at night once again during winter time outside. Ezra chapter 10 verse 9, New International Version. Within 3 days, all the men of Judah and Benjamin had gathered in Jerusalem, period. And on the 20th day of the 9th month, all the people were sitting in the square before the house of God, greatly distressed by the occasion and because of the rain, period. So here, according to the Bibles, the biblical calendar, the 9th month, it is the rainy season, and you have to understand it is also the winter season, the winter time, because during winter it also rains in the biblical calendar. Now, you're told that within 3 days, all the men of Judah and Benjamin had gathered in Jerusalem. And on the 20th day of the 9th month, 20th day of the 9th month, all the people were sitting in the square. In the square. So they're out. Ezra chapter 10 verse 13, New International Version. But there are many people here, and it is the rainy season, semicolon. So we cannot stand outside, period. You see? You're told here that, and those were men. They said that there were many of them in the square, and it was the 9th month, so it is precise. It does give precision regarding the date, regarding the month. Where in the Bible does it say that the so-called Jesus was born on December? Where does it say that he was born on that month? Give the verse. Give the text. You see? The Christians, the fake Christians, they're gonna accept the lies, anything. Nonsense. But here, during the rainy season, they said that they couldn't stay outside. We cannot stand outside. Besides, this matter cannot be taken care of in a day or two, because we have sinned greatly in this thing. So during winter time, it is cold, it does rain, they can't stand outside for a long time. So the celebration of December 25th, claiming that it was the date that Jesus was born, is completely false. They've taken that from previous customs. In Songs of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11, it says, "Look, the winter is past, and the rains are over and gone." So here is to furthermore demonstrate that the winter time is also the rainy season in the Bibles. And when we go in Jeremiah chapter 36, verse 32, he says, "It was the 9th month, and the king was sitting in the winter apartment with a fire burning in the fire pot in front of him." So that king was sitting in his winter apartment. He specified winter apartment. And with the fire burning in the fire pot. So he was warming up with that fire. It was the 9th month. And that was winter. So he wasn't outside at night. So the so-called Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. The so-called Jesus is an invention, is a lie, is a made-up personage. It's a false Christ. It's a falsification of history. Is an usurper. Behind that celebrations, those customs that practice, there are demons at work. Is the custom of pagans. But many people will fall into the trap of following, they'll say, their custom of the time period where they are born in, because it's the custom, because many people do celebrate that date, or we're gonna follow the crowd. You see, that's the thinking of many. But we know that even the current Bibles tells us to abstain, to not imitate the ways of the nations. So why are you imitating those celebrations? So all the so-called Christians, you are in the lie, in the confusion, in the false doctrine. You've believed in an invented personage. Not only that, you have attributed him a fake date for his birth. That is not even according to the scriptures and not even according to historical fact. So many people, when we're going to share the teachings, many people are going to say, yes, it's true, but then going to keep following the customs, going to willingly participate, knowing that it is a false, is the wrong date. You see. But that was the teaching, that was the message, to once again debunk that date, to expose the lies, expose the confusion of the fake pastors, of the so-called Christians, to expose the fake Jesus, the lies. All glory be to Loba, the only and unique Creator.